Hello everyone and welcome to the Belgian Grand Prix here in Formula 2. We have a dry qualifying session, some clouds up in the air, but I think it's going to stay dry throughout this qualifying. I'm going to run you through the standings and the constructor standings. A big gap in the lead on the drivers, with Gamer 89 points clear after the Hungarian Grand Prix. We obviously had a 2-week break due to holidays, Christmas and the New Year, so we hope everyone enjoyed these. So Gamer leads with 5 victories throughout the first 12 rounds. We are here in round 13 in Spa, so 5 wins for Gamer. Rinky and Nigel in second and third in the 2 Force Indias. They have 2 wins between them, 1 for Rinky, 1 for Nigel. Then we have Olko not too far behind, followed closely by Maledictis. Donkey Dan is in 6th. Joki is in 7th with 1 victory in Baku. And Warlock is down in 8th with not that many great results, only 1 podium in Baku as well. And Stan in 9th, Swomi down in 10th with 1 podium in Austria. So that is your top 10. It's very close in the midfield, from around 5th, let's say, down to basically the bottom of the grid. There's not too many points between these drivers. But up the top, it's a huge lead, 89 points. I'm not sure if you're going to see that being closed down, especially with Gamer's form in the last races. 3 podiums in the last 4 races, including 2 wins and 1 second place. So let's see what the holidays did to every driver. If Gamer somehow has lost pace, I don't think so. If anything, they all had more time to practice, so we may well see a very exciting race here today. But as you would imagine, in the standings, it's actually Mercedes who is leading from Force India, from Williams. Gamer is driving Sauber, so let's clarify that. His teammate is AFC Stan, who's in 9th place at the moment, not too far behind in points wise. But Sauber is only 4th in the standings, so obviously I don't think Gamer started with Sauber, and I don't think Stan also started with Sauber, but I'm not sure, because obviously Gamer has got 193 points alone, and Sauber has got 168 points in the constructors, so Gamer has not started his season with the Sauber team, hence why they are not leading the constructors at this point. But Force India is doing very well, and so is Mercedes. It's a relatively close scrap in the constructors compared to the drivers. But hello to the viewers who are watching this on the 4th of January, the first race of Formula 2 in 2019. And we've got all the drivers out on track. Gamer is on his out lap at the moment, still, as Belgium, the longest track in the calendar. 7 kilometers, something more than 7 kilometers. And the outlap is quite big here, around 2 minutes, maybe more. So Gamer is about to start his lap now with a McLaren. I would imagine that's Maledictis, the only McLaren today letting him past before the last chicane in the bus stop. So Gamer starting his lap now. He's actually completing it, so my bad. It's a 42.1. It is provisional pole. Childraff has retired already. I'm not sure where that has happened, but he's retired. He has not set a lap time. Gamer and Robin. Robin goes really close to Gamer's time. Only some hundreds between them. So it's actually 67,000 between them, both on the super soft tyres. Olko goes quicker with a 41.7, 3.5 tenths quicker than Gamer, and 4 tenths a bay of Robin. So Olko on the Mercedes goes on provisional pole. On the super soft as well. which is obviously the softest compound available. We have 2 drivers on the mediums and a few more on the softs. Now I don't think you have to be starting on the softs to do a one stop, but some of the drivers may be preferring it over the super soft, which is obviously not very durable around here. Maybe 6-7 laps if you push them, I would imagine. Tenkate goes P5 just behind Joki, who's also on the soft tires. So 2 drivers on softs, 3 drivers on super soft so far. We've got Maledictus also on a lap. He's actually going pretty quickly here, up a 10th on his personal best, which was invalidated. So the McLaren going into the final chicane. Is Maledictus going to improve? It's looking pretty good so far. It's invalidated again. It was a 43.3, which would put him very close to Joki and Tenkate. Actually, he would put him between them. He would put him 5th and 2nd best on softs. More drivers putting in lap times while Gamer and Robin are back on the pits. It's a very close call to make 3 runs here. And obviously the track nature does make it hard for 3 runs. It's a very long track, very long lap time. As RJW jumps into P4, splitting Robin and Joki, but he is very far off the pace of the other super soft runners. He's currently last of the super soft lap times. It's done a 42.7, which is 6/10 of the nearest competitor, who is Robin, in 3rd. Luko seems quite comfortable in the lead right now. We haven't seen Stan and Suomi on the super soft. We haven't seen Gertsu and Maledictus on the super softs either. Chill Drive, we've still not realized where he has crashed. Hello, Kalik. Stan starting a lap on super softs. I'm not sure how many laps he has done, because it is around 8 minutes almost until the session has started, and he's still not put a lap in. So I'm not sure if he's still on the same compound, in which case it would be very worn. It's 29.5 on the first sector. I'm not sure how that is compared to the other drivers. Makes his way to the downhill 180-degree right-hander. Now he's approaching Puon. I don't know if he's actually set even an invalidated lap time, because he doesn't have a delta time. At least he didn't in the first sector. So now through this long chicane of right and left, and making his way on the last corner of sector 2. He runs a little bit wide there in 4th gear. Hits the apex there. Didn't tell us the time of sector 2. Nothing changes up in the front. All drivers are in the pit lane, some going out now. Still on the super softs. Stan is completing his lap now. He's going to cross the line on a 1:42.3, and he puts in P4 in between Robin and RJW on the 2nd row. It's a reasonable lap, but he's still got a lot of work to do to even try and get past Robin and then Gamer to move himself in the front row of the grid. But it's a very good opening lap. Both is Albert drivers, Gamer in 2nd and Stan in 4th. Apparently it's raining in the end. Obviously we don't know exactly when the rain is going to hit, so the drivers can start on softs. Obviously they can start on super softs. That just makes the one-stop strategy easier. If you think about pitting for the intermediates in the last few laps, But you can also start on the mediums and go to the rain period. That's also going to be an interesting factor, which the bottom 4 drivers are going to think about. 11th to 14th all can start on whatever tyre they want. And one of them is definitely going to be Chill Drive, who has retired in the start of the race, of the qualifying session, my bad. He did say he didn't put any practice in, and I'm not sure if he has a setup, so I'm gonna not focus on his mistakes today. Gamer is ending his lap now. It's looking very good so far. His personal best at 42.1. Is he going to beat that? Yes, he does, but it's not enough for pole position. He breaks into the 1 minute 41s with a .919, but is still almost 1.5 tenths off Olco's opening lap with just under 7 minutes to go. He'll probably want to come back in the pits for another set of tyres. These will already be fairly worn for another lap. Let's see what Robin is doing. I think he is ending a lap as well on overtake mode, pushing the car through Blanchimont and into the final bus stop. Does look like a nice lap so far compared to Gamer. Let's see, across the line, is this going to be the front row? Yes, it is. It's pole for Robin by 0.004 of a second. The best guy in qualifying strikes again. It's provisional pole for Robin by a very slight amount, but he does make it in there. It's Robin and Olco, a Ferrari and a Mercedes in the front row of the grid, as per usual. Gamer also very close to these two. See what Olco has to respond to that. I believe he's not just started lap, he's on a very low ERS mode. So may have got invalidated on his flying lap. See what Tenkate is doing. He's not on a lap either. Stan is back in the pits. RJW with a 42.7. He definitely has to improve that. Now over a second of the pole time. He's not on a lap either. The two Force Indians, let's see, Nigel. He's just finished a lap on a 42.9. Goes into P8. Rinky is ending a lap now. Approaching Blanchimont and the final chicane. Rinky, a very fast driver. So we are expecting him in the top 5. Doesn't look so good at the moment, but he opens the DRS and up to the line. It's an improvement which puts him 6th at the moment with a 42.4, very close to Tenkate and Stan. So it's all going to go down to the last run for the fight for pole and for the fight in P4, which looks very close. We still haven't seen a lap from Maledictis. Down in P14. I would assume he's on a lap at the moment. He is pushing, but he's down on his personal best by 6 tenths. As long as he puts a lap in, it's going to be an improvement anyway. He's on the 3rd ERS mode through the big straight leading to the final chicane. Let's see where this lap puts him. He goes back in the pits and he's going to focus on the last run to make it count. And then he's not on a lap either. Jokey retires. I'm not sure where and why. He was not in the pit lane, I don't think, so it might have been a mistake on track. He's currently 7th with a 42.6, and he gets eliminated from this qualifying session. He's not going to be able to improve that place. Top 5 all in the pit lane, soon top 6. RJW is on an out lap. It is getting to the closing stages of this qualifying session with 3 minutes to go. It's going to be interesting to see how this plans out. We've still got to see what Tenkate and Stan can do They are very strong in qualifying, but they're almost 6 tenths of the qualifying time at the moment. Provisional roll out on a lap on the super soft tyres. The Ferrari sitting in P12 at the moment in the rankings with 0 victories. Pole position here and there, 2 pole positions, matched most with Gamer and Olko, who also have a couple of them. Only points in 4 races out of 12 has been, including Australia, Canada, Austria and Germany. He definitely needs to improve those. His best finish so far has been a 4th place in Germany, which fortunately has been quite recently, so let's see if we can make it a bit better. Maybe a podium today, if he strings the good result together. But he does have one more lap to do here in qualifying to secure this pole position. It's far from over, especially 4 thousandths separating the top 2. So he's starting his lap now. The Ferrari driver opens the DRS and approaches La Source. The downhill hairpin off turn 1. Look pretty clean through there. All drivers out on track and on their last qualifying lap with 40 seconds to go. Robin very wide through Eau Rouge already on. And now into the sector 1 split. What's his delta looking like? It's a 29.5. It's around the average sector 1 we've seen. And there's only really one corner in sector 1. He goes very wide into the gravel. That's definitely going to cost him time. Very aggressive into this hairpin and missing the apex. A lot of understeer through there. Might have been invalid. That's definitely not the line you should be taking. But he's still pushing through Pouon very wide, and that's his qualifying over now. Robin not being able to achieve what he wanted on that last qualifying lap, but he's on provisional pole still, so that might not have been a costly mistake. Let's see what Olko can do. And then finishing in 42.1 in 4th place. It is an improvement which puts him up into P4 on the 2nd row of the grid. Olko Curvy then through sector 2. Gamer is also on a lap through sector 3 now, also 29.5 on the first sector. It's all gonna come down to the last chicane. Olko has spun in Pouon, the same corner that Robin made his mistake. It's only going to be P2 for Olko, and Gamer, all eyes on him now through the last chicane. Is looking very good so far, but is it going to be enough for the front row? Across the line he goes. It is not. It's an improvement by 82 thousandths, but it's only P3 today. What can Tenkate do through the last chicane? Can he be a surprise today and be on the front 2 rows? No, he can't. It is an improvement. It's so close on that P4 and P5. 14,000 between NN and Tenkate. 4 thousandths between P1 and P2, and Gamer is not too far away either. Qualifying is over here in Spa, and the grid is looking very tasty indeed. Third pole position for Robin, and he's now the current leader in poles. But can he convert this into a win, or at least a podium? 67,000 between the top 3. It's Robin who takes ball from Ulko, from Gamer, from Menen to Tenkate. Rounds up the top 5, 3.5 tenths off the pole time. Stan in 6th, Rinky in 7th, Joki, RJW and Maledictis is second off, is in 10th. Suomi, Nigel, Jertsu and Childrive will have a free tyre choice. And that's definitely going to have to be 4 drivers to keep an eye out on. Will they go for mediums that can last around 20 laps around here if you push them? And go to the rain period. We're going to have to wait and see. This is where the drivers may make their changes to the setup, to their strategy and to their fuel load. So let's see what tyres the bottom 4 start on. Lap race then around Spa. Rain is predicted in the end. Qualifying was very close around the longest track in the calendar. And we are eager to get underway here with 14 drivers on the grid. Should provide a great race as always, as the formation lap is about to get underway with Robin leading them away for the 3rd time this season. Ulko in 2nd, Gamer, the championship leader by 90 points, in 3rd. Can Ulko capitalize on Gamer starting behind him? Can he get some points in the championship? He has to make it now. He has to start doing it now. Rinky and Nigel not starting so well, 7th and 12th. Gonna have to need a miracle to finish ahead of Gamer today and outscore their rival. But Robin taking his time then, approaching the Laycombe section, weaving and warming up his tyres. Ulko in P2. It's obviously not the best track to start in pole position. It's not necessarily the best position to start on around here, judging from the very long straight up to Laycombe. It's a great opportunity for P2, P3 and maybe even P4, as we saw in the real life Belgian GP, to make a move into the triple chicane in Laycombe. That is after Eau Rouge, obviously. It's a very long straight, a lot of slipstream, and everything could go down there. A lot of position changes, not necessarily into turn 1, but into Laycombe and sector 2. So let's see what the strategy will be like for Ulko, for Gamer and for Robin, of course, in lap 1. If Robin gets a bad start, it wouldn't be such a bad idea to hold P2 and then get past Ulko again into the chicane of Laycombe, but we'll have to wait and see how it all plans out as the drivers are ending their formation lap. Tyres are heated up, and the tyres for the bottom 4 are medium for Suomi and Nigel, and super softs for Jertsu and Childrive. I wasn't expecting super softs from the bottom 4. No soft tyres for anyone. Mediums for Suomi and Nigel. I'm going to keep an eye out on those two for sure. But the race is about to get underway with Robin in pole position. The lights are coming on here in Belgium. Round 13 of season 5. He's underway here in Spa. Very good start from P3 from Gamer. Ulko tries to go around the outside. Robin covers it off and stays in the lead coming into Eau Rouge. No crashes in the back, so all clean through there. Ulko is really close to Robin up Eau Rouge. Gamer is not too far away either. Olko stays behind, he goes very wide, and that's going to compromise him, especially in the lead. Gamer around the outside of Olko. Is he going to make a move on him? Olko also wants to make a move around the outside into Lake Com. Robin seems to have the better of it, but Olko goes off the track. Is he going to keep that position? No, he's not. He's being pressurized by Gamer now. Is Gamer going to go for a move? Olko covers the inside line into the hairpin. The Sauber tries to go around the outside, but cannot make the move stick. So the top three stay as they are. Stan is up into P4. NN has retired. I just saw that from P4 on the grid. I'm not sure where. I would assume up to Eau Rouge. Olko goes very wide. Gamer down the inside is going to be able to make this stick. Rinky and Stan also side by side further down the back. Gamer doesn't make the move stick there. Robin pulls away. 9-10 in the lead while the drivers behind battle, but it's very close in the midfield. Still no major crashes, no one falling too far back. Nigel up into P10 on those mediums, very close to Maledictis and Joki. Everyone's separated by 5 or 6 tenths on this opening lap. You may see some moves from RJW into the bus stop. He hits the Sauber of Stan, so 4 wide into the last corner. And Maledictis actually made a beautiful move from P9, I believe. He goes up into P6, a triple overtake, I think, from the McLaren. So it's a great move. Benefits from the 4 wide situation. Tenkate is P7, RJW in P8. Joki and Nigel going side by side almost into a Rouge. Let's see up the front, are we going to see any moves done? Olko's way too far back. Stan and Rinky. Rinky is off! Rinky is off, that's a massive crash. Rinky has lost his front wing somehow, not retiring. But that has got off, I think, Stan. I think Stan got caught up in that. Yes, he has. Stan, half a front wing gone. That's a lot of lag as well. Look at the position changes there. That's a Williams off as well. That's Tenkate. It's all kicking off here. Robin is the second retirement of the day. Stan is going to drop some positions now from P8. He has lost half of his front wing. That's a massive crash for him. And Stan actually leaves the session. So that is 3 retirements in the Belgian Grand Prix already from 2 laps in. Olko has made some ground into Robin. 6 tenths off right now. It's a train that is pulled away. Maledictis up into P4. That's a great lap for him. Lap 2 has been absolutely amazing for Maledictis. From P8 or 9 up into P4. And that is a great step into the podium for Maledictis. But he's still very far off it, as the top 3 have brought away 5 seconds in front of the pack for P4. But are there any major battles into the chicane? Nope. Nigel is very close to Joki, but he's not going to go for a move. Force India will pick up DRS as it is lap 3 now, and so will Olko. So let's keep an eye out on that. Olko will definitely want to go for a move on Robin now. He wants to put pressure on the Ferrari. Gamer will not have DRS from Olko. Olko now opens the DRS. Robin breaks the slipstream, pulls to the inside. Olko is not close enough for a move, but he definitely has made ground up. Robin goes very wide. Olko tries to go around the outside. In Lake Com, down the inside now, but Robin sticks it around the outside and keeps the lead for now. But Olko is very close, going to try and go around the outside again. Locks his rear wheels up, then Robin somehow still in the lead after a lot of pressure from the Mercedes driver. A mistake from Robin into the heavy braking zone of Lake Com almost brought his lead to an end. But he remains there. But for how much longer? Olko has 17 laps, or 20 laps rather, on him to make this move, and DRS on 2 straights on this track. Rinky has left the session now. We're left with 11 drivers. Nigel is in P6, as we said on the mediums. We're gonna have to keep an eye out on him. Obviously the pit lane is not very long here, so 1 stop less and you're gonna gain about 16, 17 seconds maybe. So Nigel is definitely within that at the moment. Is 8.5 seconds off the leader. Ulko closer than ever with DRS this lap. He's surely gonna have a chance to make this move done. Robin again closes the inside line, breaks the slipstream, but Ulko's gonna go down the inside into Lake Com. Has he made his stick? Goes very wide, even wider than Robin did last time. And this is allowing Gamer to get right into the action again. He doesn't seem to have the pace to stick with the top. Robin goes very wide again. Ulko lets him know he is there. But that was a great opportunity for Ulko to get past, but he locked up and into the runoff area for the second time today in lap 1 as well, and now in lap 4. Robin is definitely not pulling away. He is struggling. Ulko seems like the fastest guy at the moment, but he obviously has the assistance of DRS and slipstream, but now he's gonna have the Sauber of Gamer behind him as well. No other close battle so far. We are lucky to have this battle for P1. Obviously these drivers will have to make a pit stop soon on the super softs. Will they make the pit stop for the softs or mediums? Gonna have to wait and see. Bear in mind there is rain in the end of the race, according to one of our drivers, which is Ulko. Ulko pulled into the pits now after 4 laps on this super soft compound, and I would assume this is gonna have to be for the mediums, which are the most durable tires. It's for the soft tires. Okay, so it's for the soft. I guess he has asked his engineer for the weather forecast, and he's confident enough to go on the softs to the rain period. But this is very dairy indeed, as the clouds are not really closing in at the moment, so we're definitely at least 10 minutes from this rain period. But on the plus side for Ulko, he's 80% going to jump Robin on his outlap. Robin has to make an incredible in-lap to stay ahead of Ulko. Gamer is also 1.3 seconds behind the Ferrari. Is he going to make a pit stop this lap, just like Robin? Or is he going to stay out his Gamer? From what we've seen, the softs can go from here to the rain period, so I would assume these two will also go on the softs. And meanwhile, Nigel on the mediums will inherit the race lead once the 3 drivers ahead of him have stopped. So into the chicane, into bus stop, Robin and Gamer. Robin pits now with Gamer not following him. Gamer goes on for an extra lap, already 5 laps down on these soup softs, and he goes one more. Let's see how that one plans out for Robin and Maledictus now. Robin on the mediums. Robin is on the mediums. Nigel jumps him, and Maledictus is on the soup softs. He's going to pit for the mediums as well. Has Ulko made a wrong strategy call? Either way, he's going to jump Robin, as we predicted, and I think he's going to pull away from Robin as well now. But is he going to go to the end? We'll have to wait and see. Robin is really struggling. Let's hope he doesn't put it into a wall. He's currently obviously on a 2nd place. We're waiting to see what Gamer can do. Gamer could be the favorite right now. Ulko may have pitted a bit too early. Robin could have stayed out one more lap and went onto the soft. I think Gamer will now go onto the softs and be safe to the rain period, whereas Ulko I think has pitted a lap too early or 2. But let's see. But assume Gamer cannot go one more lap on these super softs. It is very hard to do so. And it also costs you a lot of time. Through Blanchimont he goes. Nigel is 11 seconds behind him right now. He will be in the lead, and he is around. He's not that much ahead of Ulko, only about 3 seconds, so Nigel could be snatching some positions due to this strategy. Gamer goes on for another lap. Gamer is on his 7th super soft lap, and you can see the degradation on his tires. So this is definitely an interesting approach from Gamer. Ulko is going to go for a move on Suomi into La Source. They both lock up. Ulko around the outside, and he's going to give Suomi the DRS now in the big straight heading up to Lake Com. Will Suomi attack again? Because I know if he can go into rich mix, go into overtake mode, he can definitely have the top speed to overtake Ulko. He can have the slipstream as well. Ulko pulls to the inside. Suomi doesn't seem to fancy a move, so he stays behind him, but that was very risky from Ulko. Overtaking around the outside in turn 1. Robin will have to wait a couple more laps for the overtake on Suomi. Meanwhile, Nigel is not really losing time to Gamer on the super softs. These two tires are about the same pace right now. 6 laps on the super softs, 6 laps on the mediums. Nigel will start to find his feet on these tires. So the Force India will inherit the race lead, but with Ulko and Gamer, I would assume, approaching on the soft tires, he will have a hard task to keep that lead. We haven't seen many penalties so far from anyone, so I think that's not going to affect the results too much. So into the pits finally comes Gamer after 6 laps on these super softs, and he will presumably pit for the soft tires now, and probably come out around Robin and probably behind him, as he has lost a bit of time to these two. So he fits on a brand new set of super softs 3 laps later than Ulko. Comes out behind Robin, not too far behind though, but he does have to make the move on him and on Suomi, and then try to gain the lead from Ulko, who's now within DRS of Nigel. So sooner or later we'll have a new race leader, as Nigel is currently the race leader of the one-stop strategy. Assuming he does go to the rain period, he's already struggling a bit there with oversteer around Lake Com. You can see Ulko already on the diffuser of the Force India. Very close in Pouon, so it will cost him a bit of time. But where will he go for this move? Nigel misses the apex of Pouon. He's not close enough for a move here. Let's see further back, Robin is very close to Suomi as well. And Gamer will start closing in a few laps time. Ulko very close to Nigel, way better exit there, and I don't think Nigel will want to fight him too much here. Ulko gets past for the race lead of the race into Blanchimont. Nigel tucks behind. And there is yellow flags in sector 3. Robin, is he going to go for a move on Suomi? Not yet. And Suomi goes extremely wide. Robin around the outside will have the better traction. And DRS, there's still yellow flags, I'm not sure why. Robin gets past before turn 1. Suomi again going very wide. And that's going to allow Gamer, who's now already caught up to these two, to maybe get past with a DRS. This is going to get very interesting. Both Suomi and Gamer will have DRS here. I think the Sauber will definitely get past into La Source. Gamer has got past. for P4. Robin covers the inside line. Robin goes very wide, and Gamer goes around the outside to take P3. So a double move for the Sauber. That's definitely made his job a lot easier. Robin drops to P4 on the Belgian Grand Prix. Gamer, a very nice move, way easier than he thought to take that position. And now he's got 5 seconds from him to Nigel, and around 6 seconds to the race leader Ulko, as there's more yellow flags in sector 1 and 2. That's Tenkate in Lake Com going off into the grass. And now we wait for Gamer to close into the top 2. Nigel is already 1.5 seconds behind Ulko. He keeps on losing time as predicted. As the clouds come in now, it is starting to get foggier here in Belgium. And let's see the lap times between Ulko and Gamer. Ulko's lapping in the 46s, and Gamer is also in the 46s, a bit quicker though, as he's around 3 laps fresher tyres than Ulko. And Gamer is already closing in loads on Nigel. 2.5 now the gap. He's definitely feeling very comfortable on his Sauber at the moment. No penalties so far. Chill Drive just picks up 1 in 10th place. And Nigel, I think, is doing very well. He may be within a shout of a podium depending on how quickly Robin closes in. Let's see the lap time between these two. Nigel is lapping 48.0 last lap, his personal best. So he's lapping around the 48s. Robin is lapping in the 48s as well, but he's a bit more consistent than Nigel at the moment. We'll have to wait and see. But Gamer has got almost 2 seconds this lap on Nigel. I would think that he will have DRS on the big straight. As across the line they are 1.2 still away. So unless he picks up 3/10 on this first corner, he will not have DRS for the big straight. It's 1.1 now as Tenkate has retired. That leaves us with 10 drivers in the lobby, in the race rather. Will Game have DRS? Going to be very close. He doesn't, so that's a big opportunity lost. A couple of tenths in there, but he's probably gonna make this move this lap anyway, as he's gaining on Ulko as well. He's gained around a second in the last 3 or 4 laps. Making this move will compromise him a little bit. So Gamer right behind Nigel. He'll probably make the move into the bus stop chicane. We are halfway through this race. It's Ulko from Nigel from Gamer. Gamer pulls to the outside into Blanchimont. Nigel in the inside. And he lets the position slip away. Gamer into P2. Nigel into P3. And now it's Nigel v Robin for the podium position. Nigel realizes that he's not fighting for P2, he's not fighting for the win, he's fighting to stay on the podium, which would be a great achievement with this strategy. and starting from P12 as well. So Gamer overtakes one of his title rivals, who's currently in P3 in the standings. Rinky, who's P2, has retired. And the rain is here, so the rain has hit Belgium in lap 12 of 22. 10 laps to go. And intermediates will come in a couple of laps time. Now we'll see how the pace is faring. Gamer with 3 laps fresher tyres. Ulko on 7 lap worn softs. I think the gap will start closing in. It should close in. And obviously we'll keep an eye out on Robin and Nigel, the gap between these two for the fight for the podium. And at the moment it's looking like Gamer is losing a bit of time to Ulko actually. So Ulko doing a great job out here on the slightly wet track. It looks way wetter in sector 3 than in sector 2. Gap's now under 5 seconds again. And Robin has closed in half a second this lap to Nigel. Obviously 5 laps fresher tyres for Robin. Nigel starting on these tyres. Or pitting on lap 1 on these tyres. No, he definitely started on these tyres, as he wouldn't be in P3 at the moment, starting from P12. Maledictus makes a move as Suomi pits now. He also started on these tyres, did Suomi, and he probably should pit for the intermediates now. It's a bit too early, and I do think the mediums can go a bit longer. So this is probably going to compromise Suomi. He was running in a fair P5 or P6. Now exiting the pit lane in P9. The track's definitely not wet enough for intermediates. Robin is very close to Nigel, with DRS still enabled. That's basically when you have to pit for intermediates, where DRS gets disabled. That's when the track is ready for intermediates or wets. So as Robin is getting closer and closer, this may be the first podium for Robin this season in round 13. But let's wait and see, as the drivers are having a tough time here. The gap from Ulko to Gamer is 4.6 now, so 3.5 tenths gain, almost 4 tenths for Gamer this lap. Will we see a battle for the lead? Nigel runs a little bit wide. And Robin, look at that straight line speed. Nigel does not have any straight line speed at all. They get very close in Blanchimont. Robin definitely needs this podium finish, so he's gonna have to keep behind. A very wise move from the Ferrari driver. None of them pit so far, although struggling a lot on this track. Robin now opens the DRS just about within a second, as he lost a lot of time through that sector 3. The gap up front is up to 4.9 again. So Ulko is doing great on the one softs to keep the car straight and faster than Gamer. Suomi, I assume he's losing time. Yes, he is. He's losing to Jertsu on the dries. And he's going to get caught up by Chill Drive on the drives as well. He's actually on mediums at the moment. Suomi did gain on Jertsu on that last sector. Cap's now 12.9. It's gone back up to 13.1. As Robin again 6 tenths behind Nigel. So he's gaining on him very wide through that. And as we say that, the gap's probably going to go up to a second again. As looks quicker in sector 2, he's closed into 4.6, and Ulko seems to have better straight line speed, quicker in sector 1 and sector 3. 4.3 now the gap for Gamer. Possible mistake by Ulko in these two right-handers. But when will it be ready for intermediates? The DRS is still enabled, obviously, as Robin did have it last lap. And it's a matter of time before we find out. He has it this lap as well. He's running very wide. Olco in the pits. Olco pits this lap. This could be costly for the Mercedes driver. It is intermediates for him on lap 14. Gamer inherits the race lead. Nigel and Robin both pit as well. So Gamer is the one excluded from the pit lane. I thought more drivers would come out, or would stay out rather, than come in, but most of the drivers, if not all, I think all of them are now pitting for the intermediates. The track may not be wet enough, but it's certainly not very good for the dry, so they want to pit for intermediates, and they have. So all drivers but 2 right now on the intermediate tyres. He stayed out. Rather interesting seeing 10 drivers ahead of him pit. But let's see, the gap between Gamer and Olco. This is going to be interesting. Gamer obviously has to gain a lot of time to Olco, but he's gaining a little bit. The gap is about the same, but Olco will definitely be a bit more comfortable on the intermediates, knowing that it is going to be the right tyre in a moment's time. And Gamer is doing very well to hang on to this track. Look at the amount of rain pouring in. Incredibly hard to control the car in this state of conditions on the slick tyres. But the gap is around the same. Gamer is actually gaining a bit of time to Olco, but not major changes. Robin is actually 15 seconds behind Olco, so he's lost a lot of time on that pit lane. Olco with 3 seconds, Jertsu with 3 seconds of time penalties for exceeding track limits. DRS is now disabled, so it's the perfect time for Gamer to pit. One more lap, fresher tyres than anyone else. And he's going to pit, definitely coming out in P2. Robin is miles behind, still in the bus stop chicane, struggling on those intermediates. Gamer, how many seconds is he behind Olco? He's around 4 seconds behind now. So, let's see, 7 laps to go, 4.1 seconds the gap. It's around where we left it. There's yellow flag in sector 3 as Jertsu retiring from the race, unfortunately in Blanchimont. And Childrive is now going to pit as well for intermediates. Maledict is very close to Nigel for P4. Nigel is not really closing in on Robin for the podium position. There's more yellows in sector 1. Could that be someone retiring? It's RJW. RJW has binned in the exit of Eau Rouge. That's another retirement. That's a lot of points for RJW lost there. Could have been an easy P7, but it's another victim of Eau Rouge today. And we are left with 8 drivers on this demanding circuit that has provided rain as well. Maledict is now within a second of Nigel, goes very wide in Pouon. Will we see more retirements today? Probably. Well, hopefully not. The gap in front is still staying the same. Great battle between these two all race long, around the same pace for both of them, but unfortunately never being close enough except the start of the race, where Gamer didn't quite have the pace to stick with Olco and Robin. Slight mistake with Maledictus in sector 2 now sets him back around a second from Nigel. Look how Nigel is sliding, controlling the car through Blanchimont. This will be the first battle we see on these wet conditions, as they are entering lap 17 now. Chill Drive in P8, Suomi in P7, Joki 5.6 seconds behind Maledictus in P6 at the moment. Maledictus is in the top 5. Nigel in P4, dropping back from Robin in P3. Gamer is gaining on Ulko. It was 4.2, it's now 3.4. I guess Ulko made a mistake. That's a bunch of time lost. And now it's 3.2. Are we going to see a battle between these two? Let's check the penalties. Ulko does have a penalty actually. Gamer does not. So it's 3.3 at the moment. Gamer is 3/10 away from a race win. Will it be his 6th victory of the season, or will it be the 2nd victory of Ulko? Let's wait and see. Maledictus has lost a bit of time, Nigel. As Gamer and Ulko are the fastest cars on track. Ulko gains a bit of time on that last sector. He's 3.2 now. He is still 2/10 away from the 3-second barrier. Maledictus, a lot of time gained on that first sector, is now under a second behind Nigel. As they are starting lap 18. Robin also not too far away, 3.6 from Nigel. And the gap is now 2.3 between Ulko and Gamer. 9/10 gained on this first sector from the Sauber, and is now well within 3 seconds of Ulko. This is turned upside down for Ulko. He was 4.2. He picked up a penalty, now it's under 2 seconds. And unless Gamer picks up a penalty, then it's very unlikely for Ulko to hold on to P1. And Robin could also be dropping from the podium. Nigel does not have any penalties. Maledictus 1. And Robin has 2 penalties. So Nigel could be on the podium today. And it may not be the first podium for Robin of the season. The gap is around 2 seconds between Ulko and Gamer, with 4 laps to go. Ulko again goes a bit wide there. That's more time lost. Gamer again within 2 seconds. The gap is closing in, and we may even see a battle between these two. Ulko again, look how wide he goes. That's mistakes, that's gonna cost him this race victory more likely. Maledictus also really close to Nigel on that last chicane. Way better line for the McLaren. Let's see, into the first corner, he's not quite close enough. They are both gaining on Robin. And the gap is now 1.3, so I think every lap Gamer is closing in a lot on the first sector. And that is definitely hampering Ulko. I'm not sure why Gamer is gaining so much time there, but I think it's all Rouge. And the gap is now 9/10 of a second. Gamer is flying here in Belgium in wet conditions, and the win is more certainly going to go to him. Maledictus, is he close enough for a move? Not quite. Let's try on board with Gamer, as he's getting ever closer to the Mercedes of Ulko. The number 12 catching Ulko Kirby. The championship leader is about to get another victory, but it is still 4 laps to go, and he could get a penalty. He could go into the gravel or into the wall. Anything could happen, but right now he's flying, and everything seems to be under control. And next lap we could see him on the clutch of the Mercedes driver. He's now 8 tenths behind, and he's gaining a lot on these high speed corners. The Mercedes now right there, 7 tenths between these two. He's right there now, around 5 tenths behind Olco. He's not quite as comfortable in the low speed turns, but we're gonna ride on board with him now as we have the opportunity to in Eau Rouge and Radillon. Does Olco lose a lot of time there? Does Gamer take it flat through there? Let's see. Olco does indeed lose a bit of time there, and that does allow Gamer to get a bit of time. It wasn't quite as drastic as last laps, where he was gaining around a second, but he's still very close to Olco now, and Olco will definitely see the Sauber on his mirrors. Maledictus again not able to go for a move. As he is closing into Nigel. Approaching Pouon then. Gamer 4 tenths behind Gamer. Olco, sorry. Olco does have to make a lot of corrections through the high speed turns, which are setting him back. We may see a move. Gamer may not have to rely on penalties to take this victory. Olco is struggling so much, he's going off the track in sector 3. The gap will come down rapidly after Blanchimont, as Olco actually kept the momentum through there. And into the bus stop chicane. Again, better line for Gamer. Gains a bit of time this time. And Maledictus also very close. Will he be able to make a move? And now they are almost outside the 6-second barrier that Nigel needs to be in to get the podium, as Robin does have 2 penalties. Maledictus goes for the move into the bus stop, or he has a look. He cannot quite make it stick. Nigel stays ahead, and now Olco will be under a lot of pressure from the south of Gamer. Gamer pulls to the outside into the slipstream, is very close to the Mercedes, side by side, going into sector 2 and Les Combes. Is Gamer gonna go around the outside? They touch, and Olco almost pushes him off the track, but it's fair racing, and Olco stays ahead. Good defending from him. The Sauber has to wait one more lap. Olco, look at that, he's locking the rear brakes. I'm not sure if he has adjusted the setup for these wet conditions. It doesn't seem like it. He has lost 4 seconds on this wet period in 5 laps. Shuldrive goes into the pits for one last time. Olco again loses a bit of time through Pouon. Gamer is able to stay with him easily. And now Nigel is 6.5 seconds behind Robin. So he's not going to be able to get a podium today if nothing changes. Gamer almost loses the back end. That was very scary riding aboard with him. He's now lost a bit of time. 9 tenths the gap as they are approaching the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. We also get to see Maledictus trying to move on Nigel, but he's very close this time. Let's see now through Blanchimont, very demanding in the wet. Gamer is very close to Olco, but I do want to see what Maledictus can do. He's gonna go for a move into the bus stop chicane. They get very close. Maledictus, he cannot quite find the room there. So we're gonna go back on board with Olco and Gamer. The last opportunity for Gamer to get past. This final lap, slipstream for the Sauber driver. Is he gonna go for a move? He has a look, he's gonna go for it. Ulko leaves him the space around the outside for Gamer. Ulko loses the back end. Gamer still on the inside, but Ulko stays ahead. Although he's struggling a lot, you can see he's losing the back end like crazy. Ulko pushes him off the track, but still fair racing between these two. Gamer is trying everything to get past, but it's very hard in these wet conditions. Ulko stays ahead, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference, as he does have that one penalty that Gamer does not have. So Ulko with one penalty, very close to getting two. Gamer, or does Gamer know that he has a penalty, or will he risk it? Ulko gets another penalty, so that's definitely over. Ulko loses the back end, almost takes Gamer out here. Let's see how this is going to end into the final chicane. Ulko just ahead of Gamer. Gamer just behind of Ulko. Ulko goes very wide, and Gamer almost smashes into the back of him. He goes down the inside, that's Gamer. They touch multiple times into the final corner. Who's going to finish ahead on this one? Ulko, I think Ulko just hangs on. He's going to cross the line in P1. Gamer, though, takes his 6th victory of the season, while Maledictus and Nigel are also very close. Maledictus around the outside. The Force India has to cover him off, but Maledictus goes down the inside and makes the move stick. Nigel off the track, and Maledictus finishes in P4. And Nigel down to P5. Actually, I thought Maledictus would not get that one, since he did have that one penalty, but Nigel picked one up in lap 20. That did cost him 2 points in the end. So Gamer is your race winner for the 6th time this season. Ulko, another podium, more points gained on the Force Indias. Robin, his first podium of the season after 13 races, only his 5th podium, not his podium, his 5th points finish in 13 races. Maledictus in P4, another very strong result. This is his best season in ERL so far, from what I can remember. Nigel in P5, Joki in 6th, Swomi in 7th, and Chill Drive any moment now is going to finish in P8 on the wet tires actually. And as Chill Drive crosses the line, we're going to have the podium celebrations for round 13, as Gamer extends his championship lead even more. Rinky in 2nd place, they don't finish. Nigel in 3rd, finished 5th today. Ulko, who's 114 points behind Gamer, finishes 2nd. He doesn't move up any positions, I don't think. No, he doesn't. He stays in P4. But the gap between P2 and P4 is going to be very close. Around 6 points between these 3 drivers. And Maledictus also had a lot of points today. Joki passes Maledictus, I believe. Not Maledictus, Donkey Dan. But here are your final results for the Belgian Grand Prix. Somehow the rain has stopped in the background, is now dry. But Gamer, with no penalties, wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Ulko in 2nd, Robin in 3rd, Maledictus in 4th, Nigel in 5th, Joki in 6th, Swomi in 7th, and Chill Drive is the last points finisher in 8th. Stan, RJW, Jertu, Tenkate, Rinky Morris and NN have retired or disconnected from this race. And that was it for round 13 here in Belgium. Gamer extends his championship lead heading into Italy next time out. Home soil for the Ferrari drivers. That's Robin and Joki. So let's see what they can do there. Join us in 1 week's time on Friday, 8 PM UK time. where the action will resume in Italy for round 14 and closing into the last third of this season already. So I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. Join us next week at 8 p.m. for round 14 in Italy. And until next time, we'll see you next time.